Hello, I'm W.T. Edmondson, and welcome to Focus. Freedom often causes unbelievable silence. Well, the aim of Focus, of course, is to educate, motivate, and increase awareness to public issues, politics, social justice issues, and we promote community issues. We recently introduced a new segment which we call Business Focus. And of course, its primary purpose is to promote entrepreneurship. There's a need to foster the idea of more individuals stepping into that opportunity of entrepreneurship. So that is our attempt. And we have with us in the spotlight today, our spotlight entrepreneur is the owner and operator of the Skillet, the
Blue Skillet.
Blue Skillet. And so we will have her to speak to us a little bit about how she got started, and we'll go from there. Her name is Miss Phillippia Rome, and we will have her to tell us a little bit about herself, and we'll go from there. Okay, tell us, looking at your bio, we see that the Blue Skillet is a soul food restaurant located on the corner of Dunklin and Monroe here in Jefferson City. You have more than 15 years of experience in restaurant and catering. So tell us about how, we want to hear a little bit about you personally first. Phillippia Rome, you go by Fifi. How did that come about?
When I was born, I'm the oldest of 5, and my dad wanted a boy. So, since I wasn't a boy, he named me Phillippia. I was named after my father. And my grandmother came in the hospital room, and she said, "What's the baby name?" And they said, "Phillippia." She said, "What?" They said, "Phillippia." She tried to pronounce it 2 or 3 times. She said, "Well, I'm not calling her that. I'm calling her Fifi." And that has stuck my whole life.
Okay. Everyone has a story. Tell us a little bit about your story.
To be honest, this is my story. Opening the restaurant is my story. I have tried to open up a restaurant for 10 years. I paid rent on a building, 6 years, 2 different buildings, 6 years. I bought restaurant equipment, I bought tables, I bought chairs, the artwork, I bought everything that I needed to open a restaurant because I believed I could. Good Lord, I believed it. That was my dream, and that was my story. So, thank the Lord, He made it happen for me.
Again, looking at some information, tell us about your great-grandmother and her background in culinary skills.
My great-grandmother, Miss Fanny Jackson, she used to walk 6 miles from Columbus, Georgia to Fort Benning, Georgia every day to cook for then General Eisenhower, which of course we all know he later became President Eisenhower. So,
what do you know about her personally? Any stories that you can share?
I know that she was a quiet lady. She was a really friendly lady, and she could cook. She was one of those grandmothers, if you ate, you need to eat it all. She wanted you to eat it all.
Yeah.
She would cook for strangers. She would cook for people in the neighborhood. If somebody said, "Well, they don't have any food down the house," don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. You know, she loved to feed everybody.
Having 12 years of experience with the Skillet catering service there in Columbus, Georgia, 12 years. Tell us a little bit about that restaurant.
Well, you know, I started catering from my house. I would barbecue. And the house I lived in, there was a bridge right above the house. And I had 2 big barrel grills. And I would start barbecuing and smoke would go, I don't know how long, but people would come from miles and come over and say, "Can I buy some of that barbecue?" I was like, wow. And they would always come and say, when are you going to barbecue again so we could buy it? I said, wow, I guess I'm good enough to start catering. So a couple of people at church had weddings and, you know, family reunions, and they asked me would I cater. And I was like, wow. So that's how I started catering.
And 12 years of catering, did you cater out of your home for 12 years?
No, I worked with Carla Goldman at Celebrity Bistro in Columbus, and she had a catering company. Now, I knew how to cater from home, but she taught me how to cater, how to run a catering business. You know, she taught me pricing. She taught me how to buy my supplies. She taught me how to write recipes. You know, she taught me a whole lot. She really got me started in catering business. You know.
And I'm glad you said that, because that is one of the reasons why I started Business Focus, because individuals may have an idea about a business, but they need to have someone who have been in the business, someone who can mentor them before they jump off into it. And so when you said that you had someone who showed you the ropes, that is kind of what this program is really about. What else did you gain from her?
I gained confidence in myself, you know. I gained I learned how to deal with different people, different cultures. I catered a bar mitzvah. Didn't know anything about it before I started working with her. She taught me how to cook some Indian dishes, you know. She taught me how to be well-rounded in the catering business.
Soul food restaurant.
Yes.
I've heard a number of people say, what is soul food? And you know, you can talk about, well, certain types of food that's served, but what is soul food?
Soul food is just what it says. It's soul food. It's good for the soul. When you eat soul food, you know, I like to watch people that have never eaten it, never eaten collard greens, and they'll take a bite and it's like, or you make a noise, or you smile, you know. It touches you when you taste really good soul food. You know?
So it's about not only about what you put in it, but what the person who is eating it demonstrates getting out of it.
Yes, yes. You know, because we cook with love. You know, I cook with my soul. You know, and it makes me feel good when people really enjoy it.
What do you say to individuals who, I'm sure you've heard, soul food is not healthy food? What do you say to those people that say that?
There's no food that's healthy if you eat too much of it. You know?
Yeah.
You know, I think soul food is healthy because everything that we cook at Blue Skillet, we cut up our greens, it's real collards. You're not getting food out of a can. Our candy yams, we peel our sweet potatoes. It's all natural. I don't go and buy box gravy. We make real gravy with the real onions and flour, you know. The candy yams, I make the syrup for those. We don't just put, you know, anything in there. So I think it's pretty healthy. Now, the only thing that isn't healthy is that grease of frying that chicken in. But other than that, we use natural food.
Well, that's good to know, because, you know, I'm sure all of us have heard, you know, that, you know, soul food is not really real healthy food. But hearing you talk about the fact that everything you produce is naturally, you know, it's a natural product that you actually peel the potatoes and the whole bit.
That's right. Mashed potatoes, we peel those too. That is not a box restaurant. We are not a box restaurant.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear. What made you talked, you know, you spoke about, you know, your desire. But what gave you that desire, that ambition to venture into the restaurant business? Catering and so forth. You're not tied into anything, but it sounds like you were investing in it before you even got into it.
Yes.
What drove you to say, I have to have my own business?
When I was working for Carla, I noticed, how much she was making, and I was, working. I don't know, I realized I can do it. This is my dream. I can do it. I can't answer that. All I know is I wanted to do it, and I believed that I could do it.
The Blue Skillet opened in October 2015. Tell me how that idea of actually opening up a restaurant in Jefferson City came about.
My brother is the president of Lincoln, Dr. Rome. And he was driving up East Dunklin, and he stopped at the restaurant. And the guy was putting a police sign in front of the building. He whipped into the parking lot, and he asked him, could this building be a restaurant? And the guy said, as a matter of fact, it was a restaurant. So he immediately called me and asked me if I still wanted to open a restaurant. I was like, yeah. He said, do you still have all your equipment and everything? I said, yeah. I said, where? He said, Jefferson City. I said, well, yeah, So I told him, he said, I'll give you a little time to think about it, but you have 1 week to move here. I said, okay. I thought about it, called him back. Well, first I called U-Haul to find out how much it would be to rent a 26-foot U-Haul. And they said about $1,275. I said, woo, okay. So I called him back and I said, I'm coming, I will come if you'll rent the U-Haul. He said, absolutely. He hung up, he called me back. He said, it's $1,275 to rent that U-Haul. I said, I know. He said, why didn't you tell me? I said, well, you didn't ask. So that's how I got here. My son had just had shoulder surgery, and he lives in Montgomery, Alabama. So I got some guys to load up the U-Haul. I drove it from Columbus to Montgomery, and my oldest son, Justin, he drove it from Montgomery to Jefferson City, Missouri.
Okay. Reading a little bit more about it, I understand that you participated in Startup Jefferson City Pitch It and Win It contest in September. You pitched it in September and opened in October.
Yes.
You were moving.
Yes. I was ready.
Tell us about that experience.
Well, I got to Jefferson City on that Sunday, and my brother was going out of town on Thursday morning. So Wednesday night, he said, Fifi, I entered you into a contest. I said, okay. He said, it's called Pitch It and Win It. I said, okay. I said, well, I'm gonna make some collard greens and cornbread and chicken. He said, no. He said, it's Saturday. I said, which Saturday? He said, this Saturday. Are you kidding me? So Stephanie, she did all the pitches, she did the PowerPoints, she sat down, she really put it all together. All I had to do was cook. So that Saturday morning, we got up and Stephanie was pitching the idea, and I fried some fish and some chicken, and I gave it to each one of the judges, and they tasted it, and they were like, wow. So thank you, Jesus. We won. We won $2,000.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Let's talk about the kitchen. You're in the kitchen. So how do you go about ensuring that the quality and the taste of your food is the same from one day to the next?
Well, I have a really good staff. I have Miss Barbara, Miss Lynn, Shakim, Rio, Nico, George, and Carla. And every day, because sometimes you get sugar Sometimes you get a bag of sugar and the sugar is real sweet, and sometimes it's not. So every day we have to taste everything we cook. Everybody has to taste it. And once everybody says, yeah, that's it, we know that's it, you know? So that's how we make sure everything tastes the same.
So you have a taster every day?
Yes, we all, not a taster, we all taste it. Everybody tastes. Everybody has to taste.
Oh, okay. Okay. What does placing good food on the table in front of your customers, what does that do to you as the chef as well as the owner of the restaurant?
Makes me feel proud, extremely proud. I'm not going to put anything in front of you all that I won't eat. You know, your name is everything. You know, so if you put something in front of somebody, I want your food to taste like my food tastes every Sunday at home. You know?
Other than good food, what keeps your customers coming? And why is that of the utmost importance?
Good customer service. You know, my employees, they greet everybody, you know, good customer service. I try my best to speak to everybody, you know, ask, is everything okay? And if it's not, I'm going to make it better. You know, I'll make it okay. And I think we have pretty good music there, too.
Okay. Excuse me. You spoke about your employees earlier. How important is the hiring of employees and letting them know your expectations as far as the restaurant is concerned, but also your expectations of them as far as your customers are concerned?
You know, that was the hardest thing for me here, finding good employees. I've been open 3 months. I've had 16 people to come there to work and leave. So I have finally found a group of people that care as much about my food as I do. You know, they'll come back and say, hey, you're the lady that work at the Blue Skillet. And they're smiling. They're proud. You know, they're proud for people to know that they're there. You know, so that changed everything about the food, the kitchen, the job. They're as proud of the food that they cook for me as I am of the food that I cook for you all.
So, knowing Fifi as the individual, as the entrepreneur, the person who have always desired to have a restaurant, start purchasing equipment before you even had a restaurant, all of those things that prepared you to actually open the restaurant, what does it take to own a restaurant and actually do the business of owning a restaurant?
A lot of hard work. It takes a lot of determination. It takes a lot of patience. Very little sleep, you know, and I know how to run the kitchen. You know, this is the first restaurant I've ever had. So it takes you having help. You know, my brother helps me, Stephanie helps me, you know, with the financial part. You know, so, you know, getting the right people on your team to help you, because that is truly a family restaurant. We all pitch in and help.
How receptive has the Jefferson City community been relative to a new restaurant in town?
Overwhelming. It has been overwhelming. When I first opened, I said, I will have food every day from 11 to 7 or until I sell out. I said, okay. In Columbus, we have a couple of restaurants, and the food is so good. People come in there, and once it's gone, it's gone. I said, I want a restaurant like that. I never imagined that I would have so many people coming that I sell out. You know, cook a pot of collard greens, three cases of greens. You know, it's overwhelming, and people have been so nice to me, you know. Overwhelming.
Okay. Something that I've always been interested in. How do you gauge how much food that you're going to cook from one day to the next? I'm sure, you know, for 6 days, it varies, I'm sure, as to your clientele.
It does.
So how do you decide how much you're going to cook for a given period of time? Are you, as far as your supplies and all that?
I've been open 3 months, so I know on Wednesdays it's a big day because people are used to me being open Wednesday through Saturday. So on Wednesdays, I buy more. To be honest, I've been winging it. You know, over the holidays it was a little bit slow, but now I've had to buy another freezer, so people tend to eat more lunchtime now, and I've noticed that. So now I have a lot of food lunchtime. You know, I've been winging it.
So it's trial and error, huh?
It is definitely trial and error. And I have one thing to say. Miss Rhonda, I'm so sorry. Miss Rhonda works for me too. Couldn't do it without her.
Oh, okay. I noticed one of the things when you open, I would walk into the restaurant and I would see people, I'm saying, you work here too? And it seemed like every time I would come in, there was somebody else behind the counter working. Were they just helping or volunteering, or?
No, that's what I mean. I got rid of 16 people before I got this staff.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Now, there were some volunteers. I had a lot of friends to volunteer, you know, and help. You know, a lot of people from Lincoln, my brother's friends, my sister's friends, you know, a lot of people, my Miss Addie, you know, my sister-in-law's mom, she was there, Stephanie, you know, Joy, a lot of people, Miss Tammy, I'm trying to think of everybody's name, I don't want to leave anybody out, but a lot of people just stepped in and helped me just out of the goodness of their heart. You know, that's what I'm saying, people really helped me here.
Oh, that's great, that's great. So, if I was to ask you to share some tips to an individual that's out there who has this concept, has this idea of wanting to go into business, what tips would you give them?
Get your finances together first. Make sure you go to City Hall, the health department, wherever, and get the rules. Find out the rules first, you know, of whatever business you're venturing into. Don't give up. You can't give up. You know, you got to pray. You have to keep going. You cannot give up because it can happen. It can happen to anybody. If it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody.
You're not only a business owner, you're also the assistant 5th grade basketball coach at St. Peter's Catholic Church, where your nephew attends. What does coaching do for you?
I tell you what, that was one of the best things I've ever done in my life. Coaching those kids, you know, when I first started coaching, the kids had never won a game. And after I started coaching, about 3 weeks, we won a game. You would have thought those kids won the Super Bowl. I mean, these kids have heart, they have drive, they have determination now, they have confidence in themselves. I'm telling you, watching them, it makes me so happy. Sometimes I forget about the restaurant. I want to get in there and get with these kids, you know. But that has been one of the best things that I have done since I've been in Jefferson City, help coach.
So what is the coaching background? Where does that background come from?
I was an athlete in high school. I played basketball, I played softball, I ran track, I played tennis. And even when I wasn't coaching throughout the years, I would go and volunteer at the middle school that I attended, you know. I'll go up to the high school and help the coach out, you know, or you know, whatever I could do, they knew if they called me, I'll go and help.
So what was your best sport?
Track. If you ask people that know me from home, they would say basketball because I played really well, but my love was track. I was a long jumper.
Well, it seemed like you're in the right place. The Lincoln University women's track team is tremendous.
I can't wait to see them. I cannot wait to see them.
Yeah, that's the one thing that has been a shortfall. As good as the track team is, you know, their inability to actually have meets here in Jefferson City, that has been a detriment. But hopefully, Dr. Rome will work that out.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will because he loves to win.
Yeah. Well, Fifi, I really appreciate you coming, and she did give me the permission to call her Fifi, to come and share. And I'm really proud of you that you came into Jefferson City and took hold of your dream. I'm glad you had a brother who knew what your dream was and decided that, hey, I'm prepared to invest in that dream.
Yes.
That is one of the things that's really needed. People prepared and willing to invest in another person's dream.
Yes.
All right. Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. We continue to spotlight local businesses who had a dream and decided that they wanted to step outside the dream and make it a reality. We'll see you next time. God bless.